how to use the plotter tool for measuring true courses. Let's say we're going from Boulder to Fort Morgan here in Colorado. So I have that line drawn. This isn't an interactive plotter, unfortunately, but it's the best I could do. So I won't be able to spin this wheel, but I'll talk to it and tell you what we want to see. So we're flying in this direction. We're going to Boulder to Fort Morgan. So you want to draw your line. You want to take your plotter. This one isn't actually transparent, but yours will be transparent. So you can use any of the straight edges to line up with your course line that you have drawn. You can use this straight edge here, this straight edge here, or what I like to do, I like to use this middle one. The wheel's kind of right on top of it, but whichever one works, they're all parallel to each other, so they're all going to be pointed in the same direction. So for this one, we'll just use this bottom one. We'll line it up along our course just like that. This is a true course because your printed sectional charts are based off true direction. So in this plotter and the map based off true direction, so you're going to get a true course. If you want a magnetic course, you would then have to convert from true course to magnetic course using variation. It's caused by the magnetic field of the Earth being higher or lower in some areas of the Earth, depending on where you are. That pull from the Earth's magnetic field is different depending on where you are. And you use these things called isogonic lines, which you can see right here. It's this dash magenta line that you see. So what you want to do is you just want to find the closest one. And actually there's one right here. You can see for this example, because I can't see that marking, we'll just use this one. We'll just say that this is the closest one, but really you'd want to use this one. And you find the label, and this says 7 degrees and 30 minutes east. That's 7.5 degrees east. East is least, west is best. That's how I remember it. That means east is negative and then west is positive. So if this has a W, then you would add it to your true course to get a magnetic course. But since it's an E for east, it's negative. So you subtract it. So whatever we get here for our true course, if we wanted to get a magnetic course, we would then have to subtract 7.5 degrees because of this isogonic line. That's our closest isogonic line. That's a variation in Denver. So that's what we use to convert. We have our line, our plotter is on the line here. The next thing you want to do is you want to spin this wheel. Now, do you see these arrows here? They're pointed to the left, but we have the top of the arrows, these like black triangles. So you want those to be facing in line with the vertical longitude lines on your chart. The vertical lines are lines of longitude. So we have one here. We have one here. It's these grid lines on your chart. And we have one here and we have one here. Sorry, these aren't straight lines. And then the latitude lines are the horizontal lines. They're here and we have one here. And you can see they make a grid, right? They make a grid across the whole map. That's how you find an exact location. These lines here on your plotter tool, these grid lines are meant to be lined up with the latitude and longitude lines on your chart. Sorry, I can't do this. I looked all over the internet for a plotter tool that was interactive and I couldn't find one. Spin the wheel so that the wheel grid lines were like this. They are parallel, and you just want to do as best you can get them as parallel as possible to these vertical lines. Once you have that, then you just read off where the wheel meets this little arrow right here. Behind this red line, there's an arrow, and it's the edge of your chart right here. Wherever that meets your wheel, you would then read off what that reading here on the wheel is. And you want to do it on this side because we're going in that direction. We're traveling from Boulder to Fort Morgan. If we were traveling from Fort Morgan to Boulder, we would still do the same thing. We would line these black grid lines, we'd spin the wheel so that they're in line with the lines of longitude, but then we would read off over here. It would be 180 degrees opposite direction, right? So we'd read off this one because we would be flying in this direction. But in this example, we're flying this direction, so we read off over here.